Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Okay, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. First of all, let me introduce myself. My name is Siti Rahman Raulia, and I'm from 1D class of Law Department. And here, I would like to read a full text, and the title is Marriage Law Reforms. Major portion of the statutory personal laws enacted in the various Muslim countries represent a mere codification of the established law, or at best, unification of hitherto divergent legal principles. There is, however, no reason to deny the fact that certain provisions in these laws have introduced significant reforms in the traditional law. The principal reforms so introduced in one country or another relate to a. Marriage age for men and women and difference of age between parties to marriage. B. Role of marriage guardians and the fixations of solemnizations of marriage. C. Registration and documentation of marriage, the monetary aspects of marriage dower, dowry, and expenses. E. Polygamy and rights of co-wives, F. Maintenance of wife, family, and matrimonial home during the subsistence of marriage. G. Unilateral divorce, rights of parties to marriage and grounds for judicial divorce. H. Post-divorce reliefs for the parties, especially for women. I. Period of gestation and its implications. J. Parents' right relating to the custody and guardianship of children, especially of mothers. K. Inheritance rights of certain close relatives, surviving spouse, daughters, brothers, sisters, grandfathers, and descendants of predeceased children. L. Choice of legatee, especially there's eligibility to receive a bequest, and M. Validity, tenure, and management of family walk-offs. Reforms in these areas have been effective. Different reforms in different countries, either under the provisions of comprehensive codes or laws of personal status or family rights, or by way of sporadic legislations. The source materials for all the aforementioned reforms have been located by the jurists and the legislators of the Muslim world in the depth, divergence, flexibility, and richness of the legal principles within the vast framework of the Sharia. It is nobody's case in the Muslim states, including Turkey, that personal law has been codified and reformed merely to modernize or westernize the law. Nor have their architects and advocates and exponents ever quoted any wholly un-Islamic source of any of these reforms. The motives behind and the objects of all this legislative activity have been as told by the reformers: the need of systematize personal law on the pattern of other laws since codified, the desire to benefit from lesser known and hitherto neglected principles and juristic opinions within the fold of the Sharia, the will to check misinterpretation, misapplications, and growing misuse of Sharia law, of which uh, of which were uh, or of which there were greater chances and possibility in its use uncodified state, and the policy of nationalizing and truly Islamizing the law, and the urge to rebuild the society in conformity with the original unadulterated social legal principles of Islam. In several countries, the ulama have approved or have been closely associated with the reforms effected. At the same time, some of the reforms in some countries have been opposed and criticized by certain sections of religious leaders and scholars. This has happened in Iraq, Indonesia, Pakistan, Tunisia, South Yemen, and Turkey. On some occasions, their objections were accepted and the reforms proposed or already effected dropped, repealed or modified. And this is from main source Tahir Mahmud, 1987, Personal Law in Islamic Countries, History, Text, and Comparative Analysis, Academy of Law and Religion, New Delhi, page 11 and 30. So I guess thank you so much for your attention. Wabillahi taufiq wal hidayah. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.